Thanks for joining us for the third and final episode of Sonic High School. If you haven't listened to the first two, get on it, silly. They're on our Patreon, and on our main, so really you have no excuse. There's a whole wealth of high school drama, inadvisable sex acts, and gay ball problems to pour down your ear holes. One last time, let's live and learn.
Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up, the worst show on television.
Sonic High School, Chapter 19.
It was now a new day of school, and Sonic went right to school. Sonic had Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. in his backpack since he still had them after explaining what happened to Knuckles yesterday. Sonic scratched his balls along the way, and they were only getting worse. Are you okay?
No. I read that while taking a sip of my drink.
Oh,
and now
no.
there's seltzer in my nose, and also
rum coming out of your eyes.
Rum in my nose.
You look like spoiled meat,
said Sonic to his balls. Sonic got to school, and the first thing he did was bring Charmy's dead head to the theater club, because that was Charmy's favorite thing, and Sonic thought Charmy would like it if they used his face for a mask for the next play, now that he is dead. Then Sonic took the rest of Charmy's body and put it outside in a trash can, so nobody would look and try and find it, and it could be safe and alone. Sonic went to his first class and his second class and even his third class and else, and went to lunch, where there were his friends.
Hey guys,
said Sonic to them.
Hey Sonic,
said Espio.
I'm back from the hospital. Where's Charmy and Vector? Well, they're dead,
said Sonic.
Vector killed Charmy and we killed Vector, so they're now both dead. Vector was a bad guy, so we will not be in trouble.
Yeah, said Tails. They will not come back to lunch anymore. I rescued Sonic and Knuckles Jr.
Oh, that's right. Where are Knuckles, my baby with Rouge, and Knuckles Jr.?
said Espio to Sonic and Tails.
I guess that sorts out the canon, then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're right here. Here you go,
said Sonic, and Sonic gave the two babies to Espio. What a relief. Sonic was tired of having to take care of babies that were not even his. It is good that Sonic has the best morals of all Hugh School students, because any other person pretty much would not have taken good care of them.
Hey, ass butthole,
said Shadow.
It is my job to do crimes.
Then Shadow laughed and high-fived Sonic for doing a good job. Sonic was the best.
Please explain to Silver what happened,
said Sonic to Shadow.
Okay, I will explain it to him. I wish he was in the same lunch period as us, but he is not,
said Shadow in an explaining way. I would not high-five Sonic, said Tails. His balls are full of poison and is easily catchable.
Tails!
Screamed Sonic.
So it's true, you really do have a ball problem,
said Espio.
It is okay, Sonic. Other people have problems and your balls are just like theirs. Okay, but this is different and bad and getting only more worse,
said Sonic with a worrying voice.
Whatever.
It is almost summer, said Tails. That means high school is ending soon.
Cool,
yeah, said everyone at the same time because it was easier to. Then everyone went to different classes. Tails went to his smart class that he was in with Cream, but Cream was standing outside of the class where Tails went to. Cream, you are standing outside the class. Why? Said Tails to Cream.
Didn't you hear? Charmy's dead and it relaxes me so much because now I do not have to break up with him. We can become true boyfriend and girlfriend now, said
Cream to Tails in the hallway outside. But we have class now, said Tails to Cream.
Forget class, smarto,
said Cream shoutingly. Cream pulled on Tails' hand until his whole body moved and brought him into a closet in the school. It was big enough inside for sex, is what Tails noticed. Cream locked the door and took off all of her clothing. Tails was so shocked, but he looked at her sexy body and it looked like a beautiful naked man with a vagina. Cream took out her vagina and showed it to Tails and he went nuts. His penis got hard as a printer because her vagina looked like a cold cut platter.
What? What?
Real Michelangelo hours, a sexy man with a vagina.
There is so much going on there.
There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot of that cold cut platter.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow, cool vagina, shouted Tails, losing his cool way because he was nervous and excited to miss class and have sex with Cream for the first time. Tails took out all of his penis and balls, which were already ready, and he jumped right into her invitation-only parts. Tails jumped up and down with his penis inside her, cheering like a boy teen and shaking his fists in the air like the Rocky movies. And Cream was happy because she was not a love expert too. Tails' penis kept getting bigger, and Cream's vagina was already pretty much full of his penis. Make more room, we've got company, screamed Tails, and then he was able to stick his balls in too, under his penis. Tails fit so much noodles into Cream that it looked like there was an upside-down couch sofa in her vagina. Tails shook around like a crazy, and Cream was slapping her hands and ears into the doors and cleaning supplies in the closet. Cream then was now trying to make him even more sex-powered by pulling on her boobs far enough out to touch his face like two big melty gummy bears on her body.
Eat from these!
Screamed Cream, and her voice was breaking like a talking toy that had one of its batteries halfway out, and my brother spilled juice on it so it didn't work right anymore. Tails sucked on her boobies while his penis was still in her, and got all of the stuff out like he was eating yogurt, only with his mouth, and it supercharged him with sex. Ah, ready? Yelled Tails to Cream. And before she could say a thing, Tails started waving his flying tails, and he flew up with his penis still in her and pointing his penis up so that she went up and was now stuck against the ceiling. I'm about to make my semen, get ready! Said Tails loud over the sound of his own tails was making. Tails flew his tails even harder, and Cream got pushed into the metal ceiling so hard that it made a dent, and then Tails' penis shot a gallon of his own New England clam chowder into her first-time vagina.
Pause. I just really love the idea that during all of this, that you just got dup, 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 like a fucking helicopter noise. Just going.
I'm still stuck on New England clam chowder, I'll be honest.
New England clam chowder is, again, these brand deals. Sonic High School has some solid sponsors.
It got over full and spilled plenty on the ground, but not both of them cared. Tails slowed down his tail speed, and his penis got smaller, and so did her vagina, and they were both out of breath. Thank you.
No problem.
We're a true boyfriend and girlfriend now,
said Cream, and hugged Tails. Tails was so happy and shocked that he became true boyfriend and girlfriend before Sonic did with Amy. Cream put her clothing back on and left, and Tails put his on too. Then he looked at his penis and saw a golden ring on it. What is this? What is it doing here? A big gold ring? Said Tails, and he took off the bracelet off his penis. Why was this in Cream's vagina? He thought about it, and because he was smart, remembered where he saw this thing. At the end of school, Tails ran to Sonic privately and said, Sonic, look!
What's that?
Said Sonic to Tails.
A big gold ring? Cool, let's sell it for cash.
No, said Tails to Sonic. This is Amy's bracelet, and I found it in Cream's vagina.
What?
Said Sonic to Tails.
How did this get in there?
He took the ring and had it. I can only think of one thing, said Tails to Tails. I think that means to Sonic. I do not mean to suggest this to you and say that she is being a bad girlfriend, but maybe Amy was giving Cream hand sex.
What? No way,
shouted Sonic to Tails.
But that is the only thing that makes sense. Amy cheated on me, that loose woman. She's a concubine and a bitch.
Sonic got madder than Tails ever saw him get mad and ran off fast. Sonic did not know where he was running to, and to be real, he was not running anywhere. He was running in a really big circle around the town and crying and screaming because Amy cheating on him made him feel worse than anything. Sonic ran around for hours until all of his feelings were out, and he was tired from running and being sad and mad and feelings that are hard to say what they are. He stopped and said, There's only one thing that can make this situation better. I have to go tell Amy that I know. Maybe she will say she's sorry. Sonic went back to the high school and over to the detention room. Well, it's actually spelled right that time.
Yeah, they spelled it right for once.
The security guard was standing outside.
Swing and a miss.
The security guard was standing outside, but Sonic used his Sonic speed to run over to him and punch him so hard in the throat that it closed up for a while and he became unconscious. Sonic took a key off from his keys thing and opened the door to the detention room and saw Amy and Rouge in the corner. Amy and Rouge were both sleeping, and they looked really skinny and hungry. It made their boobs look bigger, but they also looked steps from death. They had been in detention for days now and had not eaten or drinking at all. Sonic looked at Amy and felt bad for her.
It would be so easy to have sex with her right now,
said Sonic behind his face, in his head, not out loud.
We could become true boyfriend and girlfriend, and I could pretend like none of this did happen.
Sonic thought about it a little bit, and even gave his chubby blue penis a toss back and forth like a baseball in a sock.
But no, we would not really be true. Not when she cheated on me.
Sonic got ready to wake up Amy and show her her bracelet.
Author's note. I am so happy because it is now summer now. Woohoo! I am done with school for this year, but here I come 8th grade. Also, I will be away on a vacation next week, so I will not be able to write another chapter until I am back from being on the vacation. Sorry. Sonic High School, Chapter 20.
Wake up!
said Sonic to Amy as he kicked her a little on the ground where she was lying, looking like a dead woman, but she was not actually dead. Wake up! Amy opened her eyes and blinked and rubbed her eyes, and then she sat up a little.
Sonic?
She said in a voice like a person who was living poorly.
Is that you?
Amy looked so old and dead from being in detention. It looked like she did not eat or drink at all in a week. Yes, it is. Now listen, said Sonic angrily to Amy, who was still on the ground looking up while looking dying. Do you know where I found this? Sonic held out Amy's big gold bracelet from her hand that she was not wearing, so it must have been hers.
What?
Said Amy to Sonic, looking confused and tired.
That is mine. Where did you find that?
Amy coughed and sounded like diseased African kids. Wow, idiot, I just asked you that, said Sonic to Amy in an angry and annoyed way. So you're not going to tell me where this bracelet was?
I don't know,
said Amy to Sonic with a crackly sounding voice. It was up in Cream's vagina, that's where, said Sonic to Amy. Why was your jewelry up in another girl's vagina? Screamed Sonic.
I
said Amy, trying to say what she wanted to in a response to Sonic. Say you're sorry to me, shouted Sonic at Amy.
No, Sonic,
said Amy in a slow, dying way like that. Fuck you! If you're not gonna say you're sorry for cheating with me on another girl's vagina, then we are done! Shouted Sonic, with all of his rage running out of his mouth like a train full of swords. Sonic was also did not even notice he was crying, which was out of his eyes.
Sonic, don't!
Said Amy like a weakling, but before she could say the rest of her words, Sonic ran out of the detention room and shut the door behind him so they were still in there and he did not rescue them. Sonic ran fast as he could to his home and slammed the door behind him and screamed into his bed and cried and punched things and was just so emotional. Sonic could not take all of this pain from being betrayed by his girlfriend. That's Betrade. Betrayed. By his girlfriend, the person he was one day going to go and get married to and have children with, and live in a house with and be together. Sonic knew it was not fair that this would happen, and that he also had the deadliest disease in the world, and would end up dying before everyone else. He cut his wrists a little, but did not do it too much because it was dangerous, like they said at the presentation at school. Sonic cried so hard that he fell asleep, and then he woke up a little while later and looked in the mirror at himself. He did not want to see him anymore, because that was all about him being ruined by other people, even when he was the nicest to everyone. Sonic reached in his drawers and pulled out a black hair dye. Sonic filled up the bathtub with this dye, and it looked like a portal to Evil World, and then took a bath in it, and when he came out, all of his fur was black. There was no blue on him anymore anywhere. He looked like Shadow, but only similar. Sonic looked into the mirror again now that he was not blue anymore. He did not say anything, but only looked at himself and looked angry, but not at himself, but at everyone else. Then, Sonic next jumped out of his bedroom window instead of going around and down and using the front door. It was bad, like something Shadow would do. Sonic ran away to the tattoo store and looked at their tattoos. They were all gay. He did not see one that he wanted, but then he went to the tattoo man and threatened him until he let him into the secret back room of tattoos for free. There were a lot of cool bad tattoos back in the back room, like ones with guns and cigarettes and motorcycles and middle fingers, and some with also curse words on them, but Sonic knew which one he wanted finally when he saw it. Sonic got "fuck girls" tattooed right across his chest, because he was sick of being ruined by girls like Amy and Cream, who let Amy into her vagina, so it was the fault of her too. Sonic ran back home and waited for the next day, kicking and punching things the whole time, like a badass. It was now the next day of high school, and new Black Sonic went to school, looking like an angry black man instead of a nice blue man like he was every other day. This was a new Sonic, and everyone better watch out because he is sick of the world. Shadow was walking in the hallway, and he saw Sonic. "Hey, Sonic," said Shadow to Sonic. "What is up with your new black fur?" "Don't talk to me," said Sonic in a voice darker than Shadow when he was committing crimes. He sounded so angry. "What are you trying to copy off me now?" Shadow looked and smiled, saying this to Sonic. Sonic gave him one look, and almost like being black gave him powers, Sonic punched Shadow right in the mouth, on his face, and Shadow went flying across the room and hit the wall and was all bloody. Sonic kept walking like nothing happened at all, but other people were looking, and were now becoming scared of the new Black Sonic. Sonic went to all of his classes, but did not talk to anyone. Even Miss Lesson and other teachers looked afraid of Sonic, because he was now scary. Sonic did do some things, though, like shove a teenage idiot in his locker, and then punch a student who had autism for laughing at him. Sonic did not go to lunch, though. He just went outside where no one was and masturbated on his penis, and thought about his angry feelings, which were like giant bees flying around on fire. Then Tails came outside.
Sonic, I was looking for you and I found you. Why are you not at lunch?
Said Tails to Sonic, who was sitting on a curb thing.
Why?
Leave me alone,
Said Sonic to Tails in the angry way like before.
Are you mad?
Said Tails to Sonic.
I said leave me alone.
Shouted Sonic to Tails, and he threw a rock at him. The rock missed Tails, and Tails went over to Sonic.
No, Sonic, you're my best friend.
Said Tails to Sonic.
Tell me what is wrong. Why are you black?
Sonic looked mad and frustrated, but let off a little and opened up to Tails like a book opening.
Fine. That bitch Amy, who is not my girlfriend anymore, would not say sorry to me, so I broke up with her,
said Sonic to Tails, but Sonic was not looking at Tails and was looking at the ground.
Oh my god, panic!
Said Tails to Sonic. He was looking at Sonic, though.
No, I'm over her. I am different now. I have learned about the world, and I am not so stupid and happy like I used to be. I am black now,
Sonic said to Tails, sounding still angry even though he was talking to Tails.
Oh, okay,
said Tails, sounding sad and disappointed.
I just wanted to make sure you are okay. Espio was worried about you too. He also said Knuckles might fail out of high school because he is now a baby and is having the hardest time doing his classes as a baby. I brought you a sandwich.
Tails gave the sandwich to Sonic, and he ate it like a rhino chewing up a bag of humans. Like rhinos do, yeah. And when he finished the sandwich, the next period started, and Sonic and Tails went to the rest of their classes. Sonic then went home at the end of the day, and lied down on his bed and looked up.
Fuck everyone,
thought Sonic, inside of his head, not saying it out loud.
Fuck the world. I'm gonna die and no one cares about me.
Sonic just lied and thought and then did a workout to become big and strong. Sonic sat down at the end of it, tired and sweaty, but now strong.
What can I do?
Thought Sonic.
Wait, Amy and Rouge gets out of Detenaton tomorrow.
Sonic looked at his body in front of him and then said,
I am gonna make that bitch pay.
Oh my god.
Wow. We're heating up. Author's note. Wow, I am back. I see that I have earned some haters while I was away, leaving mean reviews, but just so you know, this story is rated M, and it is for mature audiences only. Just because you do not get or understand adult material does not mean you should pass judgment on it, so keep on hating on haters, because I am going to finish this story because it is so popular. If you leave nice reviews, thank you. Sonic High School, Chapter 21.
Sonic woke up out of his bed and onto the floor, and was still angry. Now Sonic was Black Sonic, and he had a tattoo. Sonic got ready for school by putting on scary things, like chains and spiky collars that made him look bad, and went to high school. Sonic went to his classes but did not do what he was told to do in class. He did not talk to anyone, and instead he went on the computer and looked at videos of cigarettes and knives. Sonic then arrived near the lunchroom, which is where they were having lunch, Sonic's friends. Sonic just looked in from outside while everyone was inside and no one was outside, but Sonic, like an alive snowman that looks in your window on Christmas.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh! Sonic saw Amy and Rouge looking still skinny, but now eating food in such a happy way. Sonic could hear them talking. Wow, I am so glad we got out of detention, said Amy to Rouge. Yes, thanks to Silver we have been escaped from detention, said Rouge to Amy. It looked like Silver did the hero thing to do and saved Amy and Rouge from detention, and now they were back out. Sonic was not happy about it, though, being black.
Haggard bitches,
said Sonic to the window next to the door that he was looking through into the lunchroom from outside. Sonic saw Tails and Espio and all of the other people go over to Amy and Rouge laughing and smiling that he hung out with before he turned black and he got mad and sad and left. Sonic walked by the lunchroom's food area, which was a different room but attached to the lunchroom, where there was a separate door that could get you into this part where the food was made. Sonic walked by and looked in and saw the lunch lady was there giving food to all the teenagers. And she saw Sonic and looked surprised at how he looked now with black fur and tattoo, but then she got over it and waved and smiled. Sonic looked away and kept walking, and behind him the lunch lady looked sad and disappointed and worried. Sonic left the school completely, which is really bad and will get you in big trouble, and went to the Chinese restaurant. Sonic got some Chinese food and ate it, and with his food came a magical fortune cookie, where there is a piece of paper inside with a magical fortune on it that tells the future. Sonic opened the cookie and ate the cookie but kept the paper, and it said, "You will not have any friends if you are black." Sonic thought about what it said and wondered what it could mean, and what it could mean for him, because it was so mysterious always reading these cookies and their messages.
Always.
After Sonic went back to school and missed one of his classes but went to the next one. But on the way into high school, the Hall Man tried to stop Sonic, but Sonic punched him right in the face so hard that he almost died and got past him. Sonic finished his school day and then went home and punched things, leaving holes in everything that showed he was stronger than everyone now. Sonic also looked at porn that was not like he usually did, now with things like Africans and dragons. Sonic was becoming so scary. Even though he was very scary now, though, as Black Sonic, his balls were still the same and did not get cured. It became night in the world, but Sonic did not go to sleep like a normal person. In fact, when it got really dark out, Sonic got out of his room from the window and left. Because Sonic was black now, no one could see him in the dark unless you looked pacifically hard, and just for Sonic, but who was going to do that? Sonic left, and went to a bad neighborhood and bought drugs like marijuana, and ate some of them and kept the rest in his pocket. Sonic had really changed now from being the one with the best morals to the ones with the worst, like a seagull becoming angry because it would not get any breadcrumbs in the parking lot. Sonic moved on from the bad neighborhood to where he wanted to go next, Amy's house. Sonic's brain was now being controlled by drugs, and he was becoming even worse than when he was just black. Sonic went into Amy's window and looked into it and saw her sleeping on her bed like a DVD not being used. His head filled up with anger, but it was in a way that he actually became kind of happy and angry and laughed like he wanted to do something bad to her. Sonic looked down at his tattoo that said, "Fuck girls," and it reminded him of what she had done to him. Sonic was so evil that he punched through the window and ran right fast to Amy's bed, and she started to wake up a little from being in sleep mode. Her eyes were just blinking a little, and she obviously could not see well at all, and especially could not see Sonic because it was dark and he was now black, which was like camouflage. Sonic just grinned at her with an evil look, and just as she started to open her eyes and see his white eyes above her, he punched her right in the face. Amy was now in a lot of pain, but still confused and surprised, and maybe thought she was nightmaring. But no, it was real, and knew Black Sonic on drugs was about to beat all of her shit out of her.
Fuck you, girl!
He screamed, but still smiled, and punched her more in the face until all of her teeth got knocked out and she was like a grandma who could only eat pudding and not steak. Amy was now screaming and crying, but he stuck a thing in her mouth and she couldn't do anything. He was so mad and under the powers of marijuana, and he looked at her and she looked so afraid and scared, but he was still smiling and angry. Sonic's black rage was coming out through his fists with violence. But then, all of a sudden, Amy kicked her foot up and hit Sonic right in the balls. Thank God, because the blankets were over Amy's foot, she did this, so she did not touch Sonic's ball disease. It still hurt him very much, though, and he fell off her bed and was in pain from being hit in the balls, which is the most powerful spot on a man, so it hurts the hardest because it is like the information superhighway of your body. Sonic hurt so much from this that it was like a hit to his brain, and all the drugs fell off his brain. Sonic suddenly looked around him and saw he was in Amy's room. He ran over to the bed, kind of knowing what just happened, but wondering if it was a dream, like Amy was thinking, but it was not. But it was not.
Fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde ass.
Sonic was lying over Amy's body, and they were both perfectly still, like a couple of candy canes, but one was sitting on an invisible bench over the other. Their eyes were both so big as they looked at each other, both scared and shocked at what it was that was happening. Amy's mouth was all bloody and no teeth was in it, like a hole that went straight to China, but instead it was to her boobs and then vagina. Sonic and Amy did not say anything either. Sonic suddenly looked sad and scared and got off her bed and backed away toward the side of the room and ran out of it. Sonic was feeling so many feelings, being scared and sad and shocked and surprised. He could feel little baby tears at the sides of his eyes, like Jewish people being thrown up in the air at a bar mitzvah. That's spelled bar mitzvah.
Barmit apostrophe S va.
He ran as fast as he could straight down the road. He ran out of the town and through the forest like a deer that could use a car, and to the edge of the forest where there was a giant cliff. Sonic ran off the edge of the cliff in order to die.
And that's it. There's no more Sonic High School.
He's lying.
Sonic High School, Chapter 22. We are gathered here today to put Sonic into the ground, said the funeral man. Sonic died. The other day, a security camera in the woods saw Sonic run off a cliff, and he fell all the way down and hit the ground at the bottom next to the river. His body got so messed up,
He's dead for sure. Everyone is at the funeral place where they decided to put in the garden of the school so they could bury Sonic at high school, which is where he spent most of his time as a teen.
God, that sucks.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being buried at your high school?
It's like being buried at work. Fuck.
Ugh.
All of Sonic's friends who were there were attending his funeral. Tails was right in front and was crying, and next to him was Amy, who was crying the most, and she was hugging Sonic's mom with her face in her boobs, who was crying too, but not so loud, like a honking horn on a bike, that she was not squeezing too hard. Everyone was so sad because Sonic is now dead. There was also Rouge and Cream, who was wearing a big ring with a really big shiny white Jew in it. That's the word that was written. And they were also crying because they are women, and they cannot control their emotoins. Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. were there and being held and crying in a baby way, and there was Silver, who was crying a little, and even SBO2 was crying a little bit at the funeral, which they all were. Miss Lesson was there, and she was crying, which made her look uglier, and the lunch lady was there too, and even though she was very big and strong, she cried too, because Sonic is dead. Sonic's Chinese doctor was there too, also. He did not cry because his eyes were too small to let them tears out. Charmy and Vector were not at Sonic's funeral because they were dead now. Blaze the Cat was not there because no one liked her, and no one invited... That's the first mention of Blaze the Cat.
No, didn't they talk about... Oh, no, yeah, that is the first mention of Blaze the Cat. They've
Yeah.
talked about Big the Cat before, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Also, why are there two fucking cat characters, Sonic? Get it together, Sega.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, just yikes, the whole Chinese doctor not crying thing?
Yeah,
Dude, come on.
Well, so that itself is like a whole other level of racist, but it's funny because it plays into like the cold, emotionless, other racist tropes. So like the fucking author of Sonic High School really has all their bases covered in terms of being racist.
Yeah, author of Sonic's High School could be writing like a fucking travel guide from the 1920s, honestly.
Amy looked at Rouge and said to Rouge,
Rouge, where is Shadow? He said he was going to come to Sonic's funeral. He is not here.
Amy sounded weird and sad, and she did not have any teeth, so all of her words came out so idiotly, it was like she was a ghost who could not speak a language that humans could understand. She usually did not talk now that she did not teeth, because Sonic punched them out of her mouth and into space before he killed himself.
I do not know. Is it that he could be late that he's not here?
Said Rouge back to Amy in a sad way. They were right. Shadow was not there. Shadow was dark, but even he was not dark enough to not go to Sonic's funeral. Sorry, funeral. So why was it that he was not?
Tails,
Said Amy now to Tails instead of Rouge, who was on the other side of her, more towards the middle of it.
where is Shadow? Shadow is not here.
Tails looked really sad and crying some, and everyone thought he is going to kill himself in a few days because he is so sad and his best friend is now his dead friend.
I do not know, and it is pissing me off. I should send a robot to kill him.
Said Tails, sounding mad and sad. Amy made a sad and disappointing face and said,
High school drama is so crazy.
I love the recurring high school drama is so crazy catchphrase. Fucking
very normal high school drama.
Riverdale is such a great series, and I'm glad we're rereading it. Then the funeral man went back to the front like a standing racehorse going to the front and started talking again. Hello, family and friends and teenagers. We're now going to talk about why we love Sonic so much and we miss him. Everyone please come up and say a nice thing about Sonic so we can remember him before we put him down.
Speaking of racehorses,
Yeah?
take him out back and put him down.
Tails got up first and went to the spot where he was and said,
Sonic was my best friend. He was the coolest and fastest, and he always knew what to do when we were bored and wanted to have fun. We lived in different houses, but it is like we did not because we saw each other on the bus. I miss Sonic.
Tails started to cry more, and everyone thought that was sad, and Tails went back. Then Amy and Sonic's mom both did not go because they were both crying too much, and Amy was embarrassed. Just embarrassed. There's no other vowel in there. Of her no teeth at all. Then got up Rouge, who was holding Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. like a sexy pelican carrying 2 watermelons in its mouth. Yeah?
Just it's just a normal pelican carrying 2 watermelons, but it has titties.
No, it's a sexy pelican.
Yeah, but it has titties. That's the sexy part.
No, it doesn't have titties. It's carrying 2 watermelons in its mouth.
But it also has titties.
So it's got 4 titties.
4 titties.
All right. We'll agree to disagree.
I am going to miss Sonic so much.
That's still in her quote there, said Rouge.
He was such a cool and nice guy with the best morals, and everyone knew his penis was bigger than everyone else's.
Rouge was so sex-thinking, but it was okay, because it is all about saying good things about the dead person at a funeral, and everyone nodded anyway, because it was. Knuckles said, I'm a baby now, but I have always been Sonic's friend, and I miss him, and want to thank care of him for taking care of me as a baby, and helping me with my schoolwork as a baby now. And then Knuckles Jr. said,
I only knew Sonic for a few weeks, but he is the coolest guy I have ever known. He was so fast and smart and good at everything. I wish he didn't kill himself.
Then Espio went and said some more sad things, and so did Cream and Silver and the rest of everyone, like a conga line of being sad. The lunch lady said that she will always miss Sonic, and that he was a nice boy, and that she wanted to take him and his friends to see Asia. And Sonic's doctor said that it might not be so bad that Sonic died, because now his ball disease has been neutralized.
Neutralized.
Yeah, that's Nutralized. Neutralized. By the time that everyone was done saying things about Sonic, they were all so tired from crying and hungry that they needed to stop and have some food. They had caramel because Sonic really liked it after that time he had it on vacation, and they had soda because it always made them smile. Soda makes bubbles, and it is cool, because how do they do it? But still, even after they did all this, Shadow was not here, and some people thought that was rude, and Tails was about ready to find him and cut his homo throat.
Shadow is still not here,
said Tails, just out loud to everyone, and not really anyone.
What the heck?
Okay, said the funeral man. Stop eating, we're gonna put Sonic into the ground forever. Like they say at a funeral. Everyone started to yelp and cry, because that meant Sonic would never come back, because you could get so tired digging him up that you would quit even if he was alive. Everyone went back to the sitting zone and sat in chairs, and the funeral man and his dead person workers picked up the coffin like it was only a cotton candy suitcase.
You know.
Like a cotton candy suitcase, you know. And lifted it over the big hole in the ground they made for Sonbic. Okay, here he goes, said the funeral man, and they dropped the coffin into the hole, and it made a loud sound. No, wait, said a voice from the back, and would you guess it, it was Shadow, who was now here, at the funeral, finally here after it was almost done, and then he said, I have to say something about my friend before you cover him with the dirt. Shadow walked up to the front, and Tails reached out, punched him right in the balls as he was walking by, and it put Shadow's balls out of business.
Don't be late! Why are you late? That is so mean to Sonic and everyone! Said
Tails, screamingly. Shadow was going backwards in pain because his balls felt like 2 apples getting eaten by birds. Ow, I'm sorry. Listen, I have a reason. Just listen, said Shadow back in pain to Tails. Everyone pretty much agreed with Tails on punching Shadow to show how to respect, but Silver said that he should listen to people before doing something, and the lunch lady said that sometimes you should just be nice instead of being mean, and people will learn the lesson anyway. So even though Tails is the smartest, sometimes he gets a little crazy, and other people can teach him things that he did not know, but he is still the smartest. Shadow finished being in super ball pain and went to the speaking area and said, Listen, everyone. Sonic, who died, has always been my friend. I may be a dark guy and I may disargue with Sonic sometimes, but he is always my friend and I miss him so much. Even though it has only been a few days since he jumped off the big cliff and messed up his body to death. But I have something I think everyone will all like. Shadow took out a bag that looked glowing from it. I spent my whole life collecting the Ultra Chaos Emeralds, and these are them. What they do is grant you one wish when you use them, and then you have to go hide them before you die, and after 100 years, someone else can find them and use them. Well, it is time that they are used once again. Shadow held a bag of them up in the air and said, "Ultra Chaos Emeralds, I call upon the gods and use you to bring the powers down and give them to me to grant my wish. I wish." And he did a dramatic stop, and everyone looked shocked and amazed and surprised at what he was going to wish for. What would Shadow wish for? Is it going to be for a lot of money? Shadow raised his face up. "I wish to bring Sonic back to healthy life." The bag glowed really hard, and everyone was making a big deal and talking and going around. The funeral man and his people got up Sonic's coffin out of the hole and put it back in front of everyone. The funeral man used his tool to open the coffin, and there was Sonic. He talked to him, shook him, and checked for a hard beat. But no, fairy tales are not real, and Sonic was dead.
Fuck.
It's pretty intense.
Fuck.
It's pretty fucking wild. Sonic High School, Chapter 23. "Wow, I feel like such an idiot,"
said Shadow inside of him to himself, not speaking out loud.
"I thought I could revive Sonic from being dead, but I could not."
Shadow tried using the Ultra Chaos Emeralds to make Sonic become alive for another time, but he definitely did not. Shadow made a big deal out of it, and then everyone yelled at Shadow and throwed their shoes at him for being an ass. Now Sonic is way down on the ground and dead, so he has to keep going and figure out the rest of high school. Shadow went home by walking because taking Omega would have just made it too much longer to get to Sonic's funeral, so he went by walking. Shadow walked home, and now he was there safely without getting hit by any cars at all. Shadow went up to his house and into his bedroom, and it was all a black and red place like a volcano inside. It looked dark and cool, but not scary like a haunted house, which is scary, and it has ghosts. Shadow grabbed his sack and looked at his jewels, and then he put them on the bed.
Yeah, were you expecting a different kind of sack?
Shadow looked at them, the Ultra Chaos Emeralds.
"Wow, they are so pretty and big, but why do they not work?"
said Shadow. Shadow looked at them more, further, and then he screamed because something was shocking to him. He knew what was wrong with the crystals, and what it was that one of them was missing. It was easy to see now that they were not in his bag because the one that was missing was the white one, which looks less color than the rest of them because it is not powerful in color like red or yellow or green.
Shit!
Screamed Shadow at his bed where the things were.
"Where is the last crystal? I cannot find it. It is not here. Where did it go?"
Shadow was screaming and going positively nuts about it all. Shadow felt like a mother kangaroo who lost her baby after it left her front pocket and it left it behind at the jungle where there were dangerous things that would eat it because the crystal was so cool looking and big that anyone would take it if they saw it, even though the law said that if something is there you have to bring it to the police so that they can take it and show it to everyone to see if it's theirs, and if it is, they can have it without being nervous due to losing it. Shadow was
Just like a baby kangaroo.
Shadow was so pissed because this did not happen even though he lost it.
"I have to find it,"
screamed Shadow like an opera singer seeing a ghost. Shadow quick went to Omega, the name of Shadow's car, and got in it, and touched him to make the map appear.
"Omega, set your trackers to find the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, because it is lost."
Omega made all kinds of beeping and computer noises, sounding like a bag of technology. "Beep, beep, boop, here it is," said Omega to Shadow, sitting in him in the driver's seat, and on Omega's map screen came a red dot that said the last Ultra Chaos Emerald was there. It was not in the cityscape like before. Now it was much closer, so Shadow drove so fast. Shadow finished and got to the place where the red dot was beeping about.
"Wow, it is a house?"
said Shadow.
"Does that mean someone stole the Ultra Chaos Emerald and put it in their house? Is this true?"
Shadow got out of his car and went to the side of the house. It was only a little dark outside because it was not late enough or at night to be the darkest possible, so Shadow went to the window and looked inside. It looked normal, not like a crazy place. Shadow climbed up the side of the house into a window that looked like it was where the dot was coming from, and Shadow opened the window and broke inside.
"Ow, ass,"
said Shadow as he got in, hurting his foot a little. "Ah!" screamed the person who was there in the room that Shadow broke into.
"Cream!"
screamed Shadow at Cream, who was it.
"Shadow? What are you doing here?" Also, going from the Shadow voice to the Cream voice is going to murder me.
Oh yeah, welcome to my life.
Yeah. Should not you be... Should not... Should not you be making a big fool out of yourself at the circus, like you were trying to do at Sonic's funeral? There was so much disrespect coming from you.
Cream stomped her feet and made a pissed face at him.
No, Cream, you do not see,
said Shadow, thinking, but like an idiot, so he came out and saying, a bunch, sounding not correct.
What? What do you want? If it is nothing, please leave my home before I call the police,
said Cream to Shadow.
I'm here to seduce you,
said Shadow, finally deciding upon a thing. Shadow took out his big, black, cool penis. It was smoking at the end like he was just getting ready for a big sex opportunity.
Like a gun in a fucking Clint Eastwood movie, you know? Like you do before a big sex opportunity.
Oh my god, Shadow,
said Cream, looking shocked.
What?
Shadow felt a little nervous, but did not let it show on his face or his torrid genitals.
Torrid genitals. Alright.
Yes, Cream, I want to pay for all of your children to go to school, but first we have to make some children, and I'm going to do that right in your vagina, okay?
Can you imagine, like, going out on a fucking, like, Tinder date or something, and, like, dude's driving you home, and you, like, turn to say goodbye, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and he's just like, I want to pay for all of your children to go to school.
But first.
What a fucking pickup line. Cream looked a little hesitant at first.
No,
but
sorry. Hesitant at first.
Sorry. Cream looked a little hesitant at first, but then said,
You know, I accept this. I know I'm true boyfriend and girlfriend with Tails, but I feel bad for you when he kicked you at the funeral, and I want to make you feel better.
Said Cream, putting on a wink with her eyes.
Wink!
Stop the sound effects, child. Cream took off her clothes and then fell out 2 boobs and a vagina.
Wow, you look so sexy,
said Shadow, pretending to think she is the hottest. Shadow took his penis and planted it right into her mouth.
Whoop. I'm so sorry.
First, we will do this.
Shadow put his penis into Cream's mouth and put it in and out, and tried to see how far he could stick it in. Shadow's penis was so big it looked pregnant, and it looked like an anaconda having lunch at Subway. Shadow got so far he almost filled up her lungs and she was coughing. Ellen was holding on to her vagina for dear life because it was so sexy. To her, it felt like she was trying to eat too many pixie sticks. To Shadow, it was like he was trying to sharpen a pencil. Shadow's penis was really big around, like an air-conditioned vent in just a building.
Who is Ellen?
I think Cream?
Who?
There's projection happening here.
Who is Ellen?
It was hard for Cream to get a word in edgewise, but when she did, it was when Shadow took his penis out for only a tiny moment in geologic time, and she screamed,
Shadow, I'm drowning in the power of your penis. I'm so in love.
And then Shadow stuck her ridiculous penis back in her mouth, and she would be like a prisoner with handcuffs on her throat.
You embarrass me,
said Shadow, smiling. Then Shadow took his penis out and picked Cream up.
Let me charge up for a super ejaculation.
Shadow laid Cream down on the ground and then took his penis with him, which was already huge and shaking with sex energy, and found Cream's piggy bank, which was full of coins and dollars and things to save up for money, so she could buy what she wanted when she had enough inside of it. Shadow took it and, using his muscular penis, smashed a hole right through the piggy bank, so now it was sitting on top of his penis like a hat. Shadow's penis looked like it belonged in a fashion show.
Huh? What are you doing?
Said Cream, who was confused but sounded so happy from doing sex still that she was smiling and laughing. Shadow lifted her head up so she could see her big heavy piggy bank on his penis, but not weighing because his penis was so strong.
I'm doing this for good, Cream. Sorry.
Then Shadow swung his penis at her head on the side like a hammer and hit the piggy bank into her head and knocked her unconscious. Cream was now on the floor, not responding to life, and Shadow took the piggy bank off his penis and stuck his penis in her vagina to finish his boner ejaculation. Shadow rammed his penis back and forth, and because she was not responding and using her vagina to make his penis feel better, he had to do all the sex, and he stuck his penis so far up that he accidentally bumped her heart with his penis, but she was still okay.
What? What the fuck?
We're not done. We're not fucking done. Shadow's tumescent penis finally exploded into an ejaculation, and 999 screaming ghosts rushed out of his penis like he was opening Panera's box, and flew through her body and out her mouth and escaped into the atmosphere and left stains on the carpet.
Okay, now it is time for what I really came for,
said Shadow out loud.
Wow.
Panera's box?
Are a fucking marathon runner. Jesus Christ.
Shadow did not even bother putting his penis back where he found it. and instead went to look working for the Ultra Chaos Emerald. He looked through all of her things and even behind pictures and posters. Cream had a lot of posters on her walls of things teenage women liked, such as the famous boy band One Sonic Direction, and famous television shows like Gossip Sonic and Pretty Little Sonic and iSonic, and famous books like Sonic Twilight and 50 Shades of Sonic.
Oh, that really does date this. Holy shit.
Shadow looked through all of these things, and even in her lip gloss and purse full of teen girl blood diapers.
Teen Girl Blood Diapers, my favorite grind metal band.
And even in fucking her lip gloss and her purse full of teen girl blood diapers, and could not find it. Then he got to her jewelry cabinet and opened it, and there he saw the big ring with the big jewel that Cream was wearing at Sonic's funeral, and it was actually the Ultra Chaos Emerald.
Yes, I found it. How did this get here?
Shouted Shadow, picking up the ring and taking the Ultra Chaos Emerald out of the ring and into his hand. Then, when Shadow was standing there with Cream unconscious on the ground and filled with nudity, and his fat penis hanging down from his body like a dog going down the stairs, and a big shiny crystal in his hand, Tails flew into the window, and thusly the room. Tails heartily even looked at the situation and said, "It is okay, I know exactly what is going on."
Sonic High School, Chapter 24. Tails was sitting in the back of the car, where Amy was sitting in the front seat, where you do not drive it, and Sonic's mom was sitting in the front seat on the left, where you do drive it. The car was a SUV. They were all dressed in nice clothes because they were driving back to Sonic's house from Sonic's funeral. Tails looked like a secret agent because he was wearing a suit, but he must have been the saddest secret agent ever.
"I am so sad,"
said Amy in a crying way, sounding like the complete collection of teen idiot quotes because she did not have teeth. She was only talking now that there were most people not in the car.
"I know you are, and so am I. Tails, are you sad?"
said Sonic's mom to Tails.
"Yes, I am sad,"
said Tails to Sonic's mom in an answer to her question.
"It is really difficult and sad when someone dies, especially now that it is Sonic,"
said Sonic's mom, not crying, but sounding really sad. She cried a lot at the funeral, but now she was being more normal and not making a big scene, like a hot dog man selling hot dogs at a baseball game.
"I know, it's like, I just,
said Amy, trying not to cry about how Sonic is dead and she is sad.
I just want everything to go away."
Amy started to cry again because she is just so emotionally weak, like a goddamn child.
"I understand that you are sad, Amy, but I have to tell you two something. Please do not kill yourselves, okay?"
said Sonic's mom in a very sad and meaning it way.
"Being a teen is the hardest thing in the world. It is harder than being in a war or in jail. I know it, but do not kill yourself because it will get cooler when you are done being a teen."
Tails looked down at the ground of the car and did not know what to say, but he said,
"Okay."
He said it in a sad and quiet way. What was real was that Tails really did want to kill himself now that Sonic was dead. What was the point of living if you're not going to do it with your best friend, parentheses, Sonic, question mark. Then they got to Sonic's house, and they went inside, and just after they took off their fancy clothes, then Rouge and Espio came over with Knuckles and Kunkles Jr., who were there. Rouge looked very burlesque in her tiny baby dress with her unlimited boobs nearly jumping out of her clothing, and Espio looked like a professional movie star on the red carpet, because he was wearing a suit. Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. looked like shrunken presidents, because they were also wearing suits. "Hello!" they all said togetherly.
"Wow, hi!"
said Tails to them.
"We have to go to talk. Oh,
All right.
we have to do it at the same
Yeah.
time. We have to go talk to Sonic's mom to try and cheer her up and to be nice,"
said Rouge and Espio, and they gave Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. to Tails, who took them into a different room.
"I am so sad about Sonic,"
said Knuckles Jr.
"This is really all the worst thing that could have happened."
"Yeah, this is the saddest," said Knuckles. "Sonic did not deserve to die." They were all agreeing so much about it. After a while of not talking, Knuckles said, "Hey, Tails, the end of school is tomorrow and I have my last ending test that decides if I move on to the next grade or if I lose and have to go back to start of high school." Tails looked at Knuckles in a deep way and said,
"Wow, that is a lot of pressure. What do you have to do?"
Tails was trying to be nice and helping to Knuckles because he was a baby now, but most of the time when people complained about school to Tails, Tails just thought not saying,
"Are you the king or queen of idiots?"
because Tails was the smartest and school was all just so easy to him, even the hardest classes that they made for geniuses. "What I have to do is write a news story about an event thing happening around town. It has to be real," said Knuckles. Knuckles looked like a worrying boy and made a sound that showed he is worried. Knuckles was a baby. "There's everything that I can lose to this," he said in a way.
I will look for a story for you to do your news story on, and hopefully you will pass and not have to go all the way back to the beginning of high school, costing you thousands of dollars in lost fees,"
said Tails to Knuckles, seriously. Then Tails asked to both of them,
"Hey, can you please both give me all of your baby teeth?"
Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. took out their baby teeth and gave them to Tails. Using his technology and tools and good old-fashioned elbow lubricant, Tails glued all of the teeth together to make enough teeth for one normal person's mouth, and he went downstairs.
"Here, Amy, this is for you,"
said Tails, looking at Amy, who looked like a total dumpster ever since Sonic punched all of her teeth out before he killed himself. "You can use these teeth and they will feel just like you never lost your teeth." Amy grabbed them from out of Tails' hand and put them into her mouth, and they fit so perfectly like a Pop-Tart in most toasters.
"Wow, Tails, this feels great. How on earth did you manage to get teeth for me?"
said Amy, now sounding like she was no longer a teen loser. Amy hugged Tails.
"No need to worry. You can just thank the modern efforts of science."
Tails cheered and danced a little, and Amy thanked Pharma SUTICAL companies, and then Tails went back over to where Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. were. Then Tails went to Knuckles Jr., who was also there, and started to do a conversion with him.
"Hey, Knuckles Jr., how are you?"
said Tails to Knuckles Jr.
"Good,
said Knuckles Jr.
but sad, of course. I did not see this coming at all."
Knuckles Jr. hugged his legs to his body like an imaginary tree that could bring its roots up and use them as legs.
"Yeah, what is your deal? Are you really psychic? Because you are just a baby,"
said Tails in a curious way.
"I find I seem to be able to see the future sometimes, but I cannot always control it. As you said, I am just a baby, but when I get older, I can probably use my powers to win the lottery and become the CEO of Progressive Car Insurance,"
said Knuckles Jr. Knuckles Jr. was saying this to Tails.
"Okay,"
said Tails. Tails also thought inside his hugest brain that now he did not want to kill himself anymore. He was still sad, but talking to babies made him realize that there is a lot more to come in life, and good things, and if Sonic is dead, it is not the end of the world, but only the end of Sonic, which is sad. Tails went downstairs into Sonic's garage by himself, and found Sonic's electrical guitar and had it.
"Sonic used to play songs on this,"
said Tails to the ears of the world, thinking about when Sonic played cool rock and roll songs. Tails put the guitar onto his body and held it and thought for a minute, and then began to play a song. He played a sad song that was not mad or happy sounding, but it was not a slow song. It was a medium song that did not go too fast, so you would dance, or too slow, so you would fall to sleep. Then Tails closed his eyes and just knew the words that he wanted to sing as he felt them, and he sang them out loud while playing this song that he just made up. And the words to the song he just made up went,
"Being a teen is so hard. You have to learn how to drive a car, and if you hit anything, it is you to jail they will bring. You also have to go to school. It's definitely not for fools, and everything is even harder because my best friend died. Oh wow, my best friend died. I just want to hide. High school drama is so hard to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst, it makes me want to burst. You have to get a date or everyone will laugh. And in a lake they would push you off a raft. Girls wear makeup and guys get tattoos. And there are so many possible drugs to do. There are also bullies around and sports with balls that are round. And everything is even harder because my best friend died. Oh wow, my best friend died.
Pop punk
I just wanna hide. High school drama is so hard to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me wanna burst. I'm doing a middle finger at God, but God is not real and the world is odd. I'm crying so much that my tears could make a cave. When you cannot be scared, you must just be brave. I'm tired of teens going on diets and being mad and starting riots, and everything is harder Because my best friend died. Oh, my best friend died. I just want to hide. High school drama is so hard to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me wanna burst. Oh wow, my best friend died. I just wanna hide. High school drama is so hard to be a part of. It has crazy things like friendship and love. It is the worst. It makes me wanna burst.
Tails' singing sounded like a beautiful butterfly telling its life story to a little boy who fell asleep on a bench in the park without losing his money to a common thief. Tails finished singing his song, and he saw all of the tears that were now at the bottom of his feet, on the ground, in a pool so big that he could invite a cruise ship to do its first cruise in the pool. But then all of a sudden, Tails turned and saw Knuckles Jr. at the door to the garage.
That was really sad to hear,
Said Knuckles Jr.
but it is a healthy way to get rid of your emotions instead of killing yourself.
Then Knuckles Jr. walked forward into the room and tripped in a way that the door behind him closed was now locked, and they were in the room, so they were locked in there.
Oops!
Said Knuckles Jr. like an idiot baby.
Oh no!
Screamed Tails out loud.
If only we had a walk pick!
Said Knuckles Jr. then. Then all of a sudden, everything came to Tails and he realized what just happened over the past events.
That is it! That is it! Using this information and my big intelligence, I know what is happening!
Shouted Tails. Tails got so excited that he spun his flying tail so hard that he went right through the locked door, so it was open now, and he went out of Sonic's house and went directly to Cream's house without even celebrating at an ice cream place first. Wow. This is it. This is chapter 25.
God damn. Here we are.
Sonic High School, chapter 25.
Now I am here in Cream's room, and here you are, Shadow.
Said Tails to Shadow, who were both standing there.
Do not be alarmed,
What? I don't know what to say.
said Shadow to Tails with a big worried face like a coconut with 3 holes like a bowling ball. No, it is okay. You are doing exactly what I knew you would be doing, and I understand why, said Tails in a cool and not angry way to Shadow, responding. You are here to get what Cream has, and that is the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, which is right in your hand. Tails, being smart, was right. Shadow was holding the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, and it was in Cream's room, in a ring.
Oh,
Shouted Shadow.
usually I'm the one with the brain behind doing a crime, but please explain to me how you know all this.
Well, said Tails loudly, like a rock star, it all started when Amy and Rouge got locked away in the detention zone. Tails then sat on the windowsill and explained the whole thing. That was how Amy's bracelet ended up in Cream's vagina, and why Cream has the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, and why Sonic did not come back to life when Shadow tried to use them. Amy and Rouge were in detention, and Cream wanted to help them before they turned into starving women whose reproduction systems died because they did not have enough nutrition to create a child ever again. So Cream decided to be a good friend, like I have always been to Sonic, and she went and broke into your, Shadow's room, to steal a lockpick. She knew you would have a lockpick because you were always saying about how you do crimes in the city environs. So Cream went and broke into your room and stole a lockpick, but when she was there, she also saw the Ultra Chaos Emerald and took the white one because it looked like riches.
Wow, she is a stealing bitch,
Screamed Shadow to Tails' listening body.
What is wrong with this succubus?
Shadow stomped his feet and bothered to put his penis back now that it was small from listening to Tails talk and not having pretend crime rescue sex with Cream. Just wait and listen, fagnips, said Tails to Shadow, still a little mad at Shadow for being the asshole at Sonic's funeral, but mostly forgiving him now for doing this. Then, what happened was Cream, as a Halls monitor, was able to go into the detention room because she had the power as an inside agent. She had put the lockpick way up in her vagina as a hiding spot because who is going to look there even if a burglar comes to take her carried goods? She went over to Amy in a sneaking way, and moving her mouth without saying the words, by not making sound but still making it look like she was talking, and not saying them in her head either because she was still doing it with her mouth so you could see, told Amy to reach up into her vagina. Cream's vagina was so small and junior at the time because she was not in love. So when Amy stuck her hand up into Cream's vagina, her bracelet got stuck in there and it stayed up there and she could not even get the lockpick anyway because Cream's vagina was basically like a pencil case full of peanut butter. It was too hard and small to get up, but it was good at holding things like Spider-Man? Question mark. So Amy's bracelet was in there, and Cream had to leave before she became the biggest suspect ever, and Amy did not notice her bracelet was gone because she was so hungry and needing soda, so she put a new one on when she got home anyway, so it was like she did not notice. And then when Sonic died, Cream was wearing the last Ultra Chaos Emerald, so it did not work because the jewels have to be touching for a man to get off a wish.
Wow, it makes so much sense, and it is so obvious,
said Shadow to Tails with a big eye face.
I can't believe I didn't think of that first. Maybe I'm so dark that it's hard to see sometimes, ha.
Shadow laughed and black birds flew above outside like planes running up high with invisible legs. Yeah, but now we have to use them. We have to bring Sonic back to life, Tails creamed at Shadow.
But first, we should get Amy, because she is Sonic's girlfriend, and she should be there if we're gonna bring him back from hell.
Damn. Just assumptions are made.
Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog's definitely going to hell, yeah.
Shouted Shadow in an idea way. Tails and Shadow held hands and ran out the window, and then Tails flew them with his flying tails to Sonic's house where everyone was. Tails and Shadow got there and slammed the door open like a football team, making a slammer's noise. Then they went and found Sonic's mom, who said Amy was in the other room, and Tails and Shadow went to the other room and opened that door too. Amy was inside the room, watching Rouge refill Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. using her whopping boobs. Rouge was wearing an itty-bitty tiny baby bra that was so small like she got it from Gymboree, and her boobs were so super big like a couple of planets that were pretty much breaking the bra parts because they were so big. It is a rumor about the town that you can see Rouge's boobs from space. Rouge, your boobies are out again. What are you doing? Said Tails to Rouge, and then Rouge and Amy looked at him. Tails, I am feeding Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. from my boobs. It is natural and healthy to do this, said Rouge. Rouge's boobs were so big that it was like Tails and Shadow could not almost fit into the room with her. They were all watching the video of Knuckles and Knuckles Jr. the baby kissing that Sonic had made of them to inspire his kissing powers because watching it made Rouge make more boob food.
Not gonna even interrogate that. Just that's a stated fact of the Sonic High School universe.
And I am watching so I know how to do it one day, said Amy, who still looked a little sad because Sonic died, but smiling. Cool, said Tails. Can I try? Tails and Shadow went over to Rouge's boobs, but by the time they got over there, this happened. Oh no, they are empty, sorry, said Rouge to Tails and Shadow. It is supposed to be for babies most of the time anyway, or if you are in love.
Oh, man,
yelled Shadow to the clouds. Next time, said Tails, winking at Rouge and her illegally sized boobs. Anyway, we are going to go bring Sonic back to life. Come on. What? No, not again, you beguilers! Amy screamed and almost punched one of them in the face for doing another disrespect to Sonic's dead version.
Listen, woman of the night,
said Shadow in a disrespecting way.
We're for real this time. Something was messed up and it was all Cream's fault, or maybe even yours if you go back far enough in the way everything happened in the world. Let's go.
I don't know, said Rouge. You were an idiot ass last time at the funerala. No, listen to them, said Knuckles Jr. to Rouge, who was cool, not a nerd. Go.
God, that baby's a genius,
said Shadow, knowing that he was right and that they should go with them. Tails was the smartest. Okay, said Amy, and they all put their things into bags and left. Knuckles, who was now a baby, made sure to put his camera with him close. Then they told everyone else in the house who was there from the funeral, which was all of the important people that you know, and they ran faster than a boulder to high school where Sonic's funeral was, and where he was put in the ground now, but not covered up yet because they did not get to start because the funeral was only a few hours ago, and they did not have to do it right away because it was the safest neighborhood, not like the city, where Sonic's body would get stolen and sold for drugs and motorcycles. Everyone ran just so fast to the funeral spot at the high school, and when they got there, there was Sonic's coffin in the hole. Here we are at the funeral spot now, said Tails to everyone, of course. We gotta get it out, but how? Screamed Amy, and started to cry like a girl tea kettle. God damn it, Amy, said Tails in a mad, serious voice. Stop acting like a children. Tails thought Amy was being the Kraken of drama just because Sonic was dead. What we need to do is figure out, using our brains, how to get Sonic out of this hole. Tails rubbed his chin with his smart hands and tried to get his genius brain running like the engine of 10 red cars.
Excuse me, let me get through, please,
said a big, retarded voice from the back of the group of people standing around Sonic's hole.
Sonic's hole.
Oh, the lunch lady! Shouted Tails in a happy way.
Hello, children,
said the lunch lady, who was also at Sonic's funeral and Sonic's house after the funeral. The lunch lady was very big and tall and went in Sonic's hole and tossed the coffin right out onto the ground next to it.
There you go,
said the lunch lady with a face full of smiles. She was deaf, too. Cool, said Tails. Thanks. Shadow, where are you? Shadow came in from the backer area where it was dark under a tree because Shadow was the darkest person everyone knew.
Here I am, Tails, and here are my jewels,
said Shadow as he grabbed his sack.
Ready?
Here goes nothing, yelled Tails like a gay little boy. Don't you just hate when people say that? Shadow grabbed his jewels and made sure all 7 of them were there, and they were there. He was so nervous because this did not work. They would surely put him under a citizen's arrest for being a public ass. If he did not do this right, he would die, and Tails would too now because he was doing it with him, and they would throw rocks at them.
Using these Ultra Chaos Emeralds,
said Shadow,
I wish up at the gods to grant my wish that you can bring back Sonic back up to normal healthy life here.
The bag glowed a whole lot and made screamy noises, and a big stick of light came down from the sky and hit the bag, and all of the Ultra Chaos Emeralds started to go crazy. They were making sounds like frogs and trains and horses and hitting into each other and shooting out lights and being basically the circus. Shadow and Tails were so squinty with their eyes, like the Chinese doctor who touched Sonic's balls. Wow! Screamed Amy. Oh my god! Screamed Rouge.
Cool!
Screamed SBO.
What?
Screamed Knuckles. A miracle! Screamed Knuckles Jr. Just then, Cream got there from being on conscience at her house and screamed, No way!
Wow!
Screamed Silver.
Oh wow, very impressive,
said Sonic's really Chinese doctor in a less loud way, and the lunch lady said something too, and so did Sonic's mom and Miss Lesson. Then everything in the world just became super bright, and no one could see a thing for a moment, and they could not hear they noticed either because there was a ringing sound in their ears. It was so crazy, like being in a marshmallow filled of ringing sounds. Then everyone peeked out behind their hands at where they were going, and all the Ultra Chaos Emeralds were gone, and Sonic's coffin was open, and look, there was Sonic! Sonic was standing on his coffin where he was, inside, but he was on top of it, smiling, and not black anymore, but regular old blue Sonic. Yes, it really happened!
Hey guys, what did I miss?
Shouted Sonic in his regular old cool way. Sonic! Screamed everyone at the same time, because they were all there and heard and saw him together, so it is just natural. They all ran at him, and he went down from the coffin, and everyone was hugging, and it was so beautiful to see.
I heard Eggman was laughing at my funeral. What an ass!
Said Sonic, and laughed, because he was the most living person ever now. Wow, Sonic, you're alive! Said Tails to Sonic.
You bet!
Said Sonic, and high-fived him, which is already after they hugged because they are best friends, but Sonic hugged everyone else, too. Wow, Sonic, you really are the fastest, said Knuckles Jr. You came back to life in 2 days! You beat the world record for fastest coming back to life because it took Jesus 3 days! Knuckles Jr. was right. Sonic was the fastest and is now proved completely. Sonic, I miss you! I forgive you! Shouted Amy, crying and happy. Amy cried so much. She was such a loser about emotions.
Amy, I was thinking a lot about you when I was dead.
Said Sonic, before typical gay girl Amy cut him off in a rude way. It doesn't matter, Sonic! I want to become true boyfriend and girlfriend with you now! Screamed Amy, and did holding on Sonic's hands. Sonic looked surprised.
Now? Right now?
Said Sonic with a question voice. Yeah, right now! Yelled Amy. Let them watch! This is true love! Then Amy leaped out of her clothing, except her underwears, like a horse jumping out of a plane. And landed in front of Sonic's body, ready for his grand genitals. And Sonic already had all his clothes off by the time she started to jump, because he is the fastest.
Yeah, sex!
Shouted Sonic, and he finally revealed his penis. His penis instantly grew to dangerous levels. He swinged it around, and everyone had to duck or jump over it. Sonic's penis was just like the biggest penis anyone ever saw. It was like he had the World Trade Center sitting on his balls. His balls were super big, too, like beanbag chairs full of olives.
Yes, my measurements were correct,
said Sonic's extra Chinese doctor.
His penis and balls are definitely the biggest available.
Amy was so filled with sex and arousing that her boobs were rock hard. She opened up her legs and she was still wearing a panty, but her vagina was really hard too, like a trapdoor to the love basement. Sonic did not care, and he shot his incredible penis right into her vagina through her girl clothing, and she felt his love immediately. His penis was ice cold, and it was so big that it made it up her body and into her mouth, and she could taste it. It tasted like money and ice cream.
I love you!
Screamed Sonic, ramming his penis in and out of her body like a drain cleaner. I love you too! Screamed Amy, trying to make words while Sonic's penis rearranged her internal organs. Sonic took his penis out and beat her boobies back and forth with it, and she loved it. Sonic's pinsai was now so strong that it made her roll back and forth, and by now she was so in love that her vagina was shooting whipped cream.
Wait for me!
Shouted Sonic, laughing like a millionaire. Sonic did legendary sex moves to Amy, like picking her up with his penis and doing tricks, and brushing her teeth with his penis, and letting her walk on it like a tightrope walker, but with his penis. He even put Amy and him into his coffin, and he wiggled his penis back and forth in her vagina while in the coffin like a beef slinky. Sonic's penis was so big and long and wide that you could fit families inside of it. If you think you have seen a bigger penis, you have not, because Sonic was in love now. Amy's vagina was breathing hard and reaching out for Sonic's penis, and soon he put it back into her vagina and decided to do a final systems check before taking off into the semen sphere. Sonic grabbed his balls and held them back against his body and ran into Amy with his penis, and his penis immediately flooded her vagina with his fresh and creamy s'mores. He shot so much semen into Amy that it was coming out of her ears. Eventually he took his penis out and shot more out, but like bullets. He even shot one into the sky, and that night someone noticed Venus was about 10 feet to the right of where it should have been. That was because Sonic's semen bullet hit it. Sonic! Screamed Amy. Marry me! Amy kneeled up from on the ground, holding a big ring like the one she wore, and held it up in front of her face. Sonic looked at it, smiled, and shoved his show-stopping penis right through the ring and into her mouth, and she yelled a passionate sound, and Sonic said,
I will marry you!
Amy drank all of the semen that she could and grew an inch in height from it. Then Amy took out the real rings that she had, and Sonic and Amy put them on so they could get married. You just had sex! Screamed Tails. You just became true boyfriend and girlfriend! Congratulations, Sonic and Amy!
That's congratulations.
Sorry. Congratulations, Sonic and Amy!
I'm sorry, that is such a specifically fucked up word. And I'm dying in general already. But
Yeah,
Well,
said SBO.
I thought I was a sex professional.
I am seeing true love, shouted Rouge. Everyone laughed and cheered as Sonic and Amy finished doing sex and kissed each other's penises and vaginas and balls one more time for good luck. Then they put their clothes on that Silver had folded and put in piles for them because he was just a really good, nice guy,
Hey,
shouted Knuckles.
thanks, I got my story now.
Knuckles waved a bunch of pictures of Sonic and Amy having sex in the high school garden area and the article that he just wrote attached to it,
Cool, I'm happy I did help you.
said Sonic, winking, still feeling like Super Sex Sonic.
Yes, that is wonderful.
Said a big voice behind them in an important way.
Hello, I'm the principal of the high school.
Wow, the president?
Shouted Sonic. Seeing the principal was like seeing a celebrity because he only came out one day every year,
Yes, Sonic, you are the best.
said the principal. Yeah, he is, said Amy to the principal. We just had sex right here and he's my true boyfriend now. The principal laughed and smiled.
Wait just a minute.
Yelled Sonic to the principal.
I may be the best at some things, but everyone here is the best at some things. Amy's the best at being nice and having emotions. Tails is the best at being smart and flying. Shadow is the best at doing crimes and driving and being dark, but also being nice. So he is the best at being two things at the same time. Esbio is the best at jumping and getting teenage women. Rouge.
We can have that playing in the background.
Absolutely, I'll fucking fade that in right now.
Rouge is the best at seducing and being in love and a mom. Knuckles is the best at doing high school while still being a baby, and he was the best at fighting before becoming a baby. Knuckles Jr. is the best at being psychic and being cool while still being a baby. Cream is the best at being happy and kinda smart. Silver is the best at acting and being nice and normal and cool. The lunch lady is the best at making people happy and being strong. The Chinese doctor is the best at medical things and Asian abilities. Sonic's mom is the best at cooking and cleaning. Miss Lesson is the best at teaching and being the nurse. Vector was the best at biting and making people mad, and Charmy was the best at dancing and singing, but now they're dead. I am the best at being fast, being moral, relieving others, and most other things.
Yeah! Said everyone else together to save time, patting each other's on the backs and laughing and smiling and cheering because they were all the best in some way,
I guess that is true.
said the principal.
I really want to thank you though, Sonic. You really have the best morals. Everyone needs to learn from you about what high school is really all about. It is not about drama and being mean and being crazy, and getting mad or sad or making other people mad and sad. High school is about falling in love and getting married and maybe having kids. Thank you, Sonic, for showing everyone this. Also, Knuckles, I am very impressed with your story, even though you are just a baby and you passed this year of high school and do not have to go back to the start and pay thousands of dollars in fees and charges.
Knuckles cheered and hurrahed like a baby, and the principal shook Sonic's hand and could not help but look at how big Sonic's penis was, even still when it was not out. Hey! Said Tails to Sonic and everyone. Today was the last day of school. It is summer now!
Yeah, cool, great!
Shouted everyone together at the same time.
Good!
Said the principal to everyone and then to Sonic.
Now I can do what I want to do, and that is rename high school in your honor.
The whole big group of everyone laughed and smiled and walked away towards the sun, ready to go have summer before they would have to return to the new Sonic High School. The end.
Author's note. Wow, I am so sad but kind of filled with relief that this is the end of Sonic High School. I got sad at the end and I wanted to make sure it came out just right. I hope you all enjoyed this story as much as it was that I did writing this story. If you have any ideas for another shorter fanfiction you want me to do, send it to me in a message, and maybe I can do it in the future, but I need to take a break for now. If you just want to talk, you can send me a message, because it will just send an email that you sent me a message, so I will always know where you are. Please tell all your friends about this story, and spread it on the internet, so everyone reads it, and it becomes even more of a worldwide pheromone. Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to this shit. Truly, thank you. Your patience in this matter has been an incredible gift. Sonic High School was written by Dark Doom Firemaster and can be found on fanfiction.net. All high-quality rips for this episode are from the YouTube channel Silvagun. I know you're clever enough to know our socials, but if this experience has left your brain entirely smooth, the main podcast can be found on Twitter at Dolphin Garage, and my handle is Schnedwob, SCHNEDWOB. Good night, Planet Mobius, and good mental health.
Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Trying to hold on to didn't even know I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard. It doesn't even matter now what happens. I will never give up the fight. There is no way I will run away from all of my friends. Too far to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Who is wrong or who is right? One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. In spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property. Remembering all the times you fought with me. What it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard. And
Coming up.